Okay, this part of this part
Yeah.
of the ship is not golden. Wow. The difference is stark.
It's literally Downton Abbey. Time to
Yeah.
go downstairs. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. We are still in Gaiden, I believe Season 1, but we are now into Those Who Revolt / Mutineer. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not in Season 1 anymore. Season 1 is 1998 Gaiden. We are now in 1999 Gaiden, which is Season 2. But still, as the last episode we watched said, this is the next thing to watch. My chronological list of chronology says that this is the next thing to watch. Allow myself to introduce myself. Yeah. Well, it's, I hate repeating myself. That's why, just the other day when I was live streaming Mushoku Tensei, I realized I said obvious like 3 times in a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Causes my brain to shut down and pause. What did you just say?
Obviously.
But yeah, I think what was indicated to us is that we're still in Reinhard episodes.
Yes. Reinhard's next posting, apparently. He goes to space.
Well, I mean, it's like, not ironic. It's, I think I have like 2 phrases that I use when I'm about to start a line of thought that I think is something. It's a bit ironic, or it's a little funny, but, and I think funny is the only one I get blowback from in the comments. Why is that funny when this happens? It's like, that's not really, I need an intro to the sentence I'm about to say. Anyway, it's something that at the end of Gang's 14 episode run, that's when he gets his space or fleet-based appointment.
Yeah.
And 4 episodes into Reinhardt. Time to go to space.
He's on the fast track.
I also kind of assume that after this, Mutineer is when we go back to Gang. I don't know. It's just that these 2 things both come from, or this and the next thing, both come from Season 2 of Gaiden. And one is called Those Who Revolt / Mutineer, which we're about to watch. And then after that is Those Who Duel / Duelist, which feels like they're meant to be back to back, but I don't feel like they should be the same person focused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't see Yang as a duelist. I could see Reinhardt as a duelist, but not.
I don't see him. Dude just standing there with a gun pointed, gets shot in the hand. Well, technically, the other guy opens fire on him and he has to dodge away. And then he comes back out, jumping in to shoot, and gets shot in the hand. The dude has no timing on pulling the trigger. Like, even if he was, like, trying to get this guy to talk or waiting for Siegfried to come back, he could have opened shots to miss him, but to make him, like, take evasive action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him and Yang, man, they both point a gun and do nothing with it. Although I guess technically he did shoot one guy who was already dying.
Well, he stabbed somebody in the neck with an icicle, so there's that.
Sure, but I was making the gun analogy. And his, the lieutenant guy, the one who insulted his sister, he's like the only guy I saw him actually shoot.
Yeah, and he literally did a flying kick against some other guy, so.
Once again, was only talking about guns. Otherwise, anything to say before we get into this?
No.
Alright, let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's 0 pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, this is definitely second season.
Sorry, my brain was lost in the DS9 theme. It's stronger at the very beginning. Before we go into this. In which case I feel like we're on a fantasy adventure. Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna pull away into a field. Sorry. Heavy
yeah.
vest, Siegfried, I thought was shirtless Siegfried for a second. I was like, man, Siegfried got jacked. So yeah, this is just the opening to season 2. The field thing was not special for Reinhardt. I guess maybe which implies that if there's season 1 gang stuff, that Yang might have his own special opening as well.
Probably.
I feel like we saw... I feel like we saw most of this stuff already from Yang's pictures, but then again, Yang had a 14-episode run, so maybe we did see it.
Yeah, I think all those faces we've seen in Yang stuff.
What probably is going to happen is that season 1 had a half run for Reinhardt as well, and then we probably get a full-on thing of that too. Reinhardt, I think, is Reinhardt looking at Yang? Because Yang looks really sad that it's happening, if that's the case.
Hey, don't look at me.
Accusation, I didn't do it.
That outfit. The
Mutineer.
Yeah.
帝国歴482年8月、惑星カプチェランカの
Did that say 7? Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the space year, not the imperial year.
ラインハルト・フォン・ミューゼルは中尉に昇進して念願の宇宙艦隊勤務に移ることができた。
So this is just a year after the last thing that we watched.
You know, Yang gets promoted much quicker for what he did in El Facil than what Musil did here. Reinhard did a Musil. Yeah, Musil, that's his name. Reinhard Musil.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we already covered, or the last episode covered the fact that Gang's last rank was the longest time he ever spent in any rank.
Yeah.
ラインハルト・フォン・ミューゼル中尉とジークフリード・キルヒアイス少尉か。ああ、ミューゼル中尉は幼年学校首席卒業。
So I missed the part where they were talking about ranks, but obviously Reinhardt went game lieutenant junior grade, and Siegfried only went from junior ensign to ensign. Purple eyes. He's got purple eyes.
副長のベルトラムだ。よろしく。
大尉も士官学校を優秀な成績で卒業して、以来現場での経験も豊富な優秀な士官だ。私もこの間の実務はすべて彼に任せて楽をさせてもらう。
Oh, talk about being lazy. I don't do shit. His job is that.
Yeah, but he has to protect himself from being assassinated daily, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, the interior of our ships look like the interior of our palaces.
部下を尊重してくださる。上司としては使いやすい相手だ。
男爵位を持っていて、あの年で少佐というのは出世の遅い方だな。それだけ能力は低いということか。
It's funny, we just got done talking about a competency.
船長から転じたという変わった経歴の方だ。その分、我々生粋の軍人の意見を尊重してくださるのだと思う。皆に紹介しよう。全員その場で聞くように。紹介しよう。新任の航海長と保安主任だ。ラインハルト・フォン・ミューゼル中尉とジークフリード・キルヒアイス少尉。若いが実戦で武軍も立てている春秋だ。引き立ててやってくれ。注意、少尉。こちらがこの間の砲術長シャミッソー中尉。向こうが水雷長デューリング中尉。
I feel like I may not have made the board big enough.
本来なら航海長が上位に来るのだが、 この間では2人が専任だ。そこをわきまえておくように。
Also, he's got the haircut of Kycelia.
甲冑主任のエメリヒ
Young
少尉、
Kycelia.
通信主任のフレーベル少尉、索敵主任のグナイスト少尉、環境詰めの士官は以上だ。下士官以下の会員はおいおい覚えてもらう。次だ。
やれやれ、航海長があんな坊やとはな。
あれが噂のグリューネワルト伯爵夫人の弟か。
I feel like this might also be a ploy. Put him on a ship that's never going to see any action and they'll never move or anywhere or accomplish anything.
航海長は飾っとけばいいってね。飾りにはいいよな、美形で。
軍医のヨーンゾン先生。
Also, remember, this is called a Mutineer. What the fuck is going to happen on this ship?
おお、若いとは聞いとったが本当に若いな。私の専門に多少は近いというものだ。
専門？
軍に挑発されるまで町場で勝利会をやっとったんでな。
Sorry, was that funny?
次は機関長だ。艦の構造は知っているとは思うが、機関室は下のフロアにある。基本的には上が士官、下のフロアが下士官以下の一般兵と思っていい。機関長も通常は
Okay, this part of this part of the ship is not golden. You know, wow. The difference is stark.
It's literally Downton Abbey. Time to go downstairs.
Jesus Christ.
Or down below on Babylon 5.
Yeah.
副長、何か用ですかい？
新任の航海長を案内している。
航海長？
航海長のフォン・ミューゼル中尉と保安主任のキルヒアイス少尉だ。
おお。
敬礼せんか。行くぞ。
They have more headheads, though.
Greaser. It looks like a greaser king.
おいロルフ、お前より若いぐらいじゃないか。
なんで俺たちは二等兵からであんなガキが注意なんだ？
お前だってガキだろうがよ。
だけど兄貴。
Well, I think we know where the mutineer thing is coming from.
貴族様だからだろう。フォンがついていたからな。平民とは出世の速さが違うのさ。
それにしたって若すぎやしないか？あのエリートの副長だってやっと大尉だろ？
士官学校を出たエリートって言っても平民出身じゃそんなものさ。
Yeah, I guess they didn't introduce them to these guys that are having battleground experience like he did the command staff. Or the officers, I mean.
大佐か。雲の上の話だな。
は、貴族なんてのは家柄だけで出世できるからな。気楽なもんだぜ。
うちの艦長なんかいい例だな。いやいや戦場に来ているのが見え見えで、何もしないで副長にお任せ、良きに計らえってか。
副長に任せるだけマシさ。他の艦じゃ貴族だってだけで艦長になったようなのが、無能なくせに何でも口を出してとうとう撃沈されたっていうからな。
ま、うちは平民期待の星の副長がいるから大丈夫だろうさ。航海長にどんなのが来ようとな。
So even then, they're fine. I don't know where the mutineer thing is coming from now.
I mean, I would think that they would try to keep their areas more clean like that. Seem to be rather dirty. And, you mean
it might
hanging
be
their clothes like that?
impossible.
Yeah.
You know, like plumbing between the walls and everything.
まあ今回は持つだろうが、次の出撃の時は保証できんな。ちょっと見てくれ。
The power plant. Careful what you say here, kids.
随分と老朽化しているな。
ええ。でも手入れは行き届いているようです。うん。それと副長、信頼されているようですね。
聞いたか？さっきのあの坊や。グリューネワルト伯爵夫人の弟なんだと。
グリューネワルト伯爵夫人？あの皇帝陛下のお気に入りって女か。
そうだってさ。
I mean, unless some of these people get like wind of this and try to defect, thinking that they have something with Reinhard's family connection.
おい、シュミット。大学でのお前さんの方がよっぽど航海長に向いているんじゃないか？ 天体物理が専門だったんだろ。
仕方がないさ。一般大学から徴兵されたんだから。1年勤めてやっと一等兵。専門知識を生かす機会なんて永遠に来ないね、きっと。
ロルフ、お前だってこんな兄貴じゃなくて美人の姉ちゃんだったらきっと今頃注意殿だぜ。
悪かったな。
I mean, you're assuming that his university. What the fuck, man?
あちらさんがね。
You're assuming his university education in astrophysics is better than Reinhardt's mastery of military academy.
Well, it depends on, as being chief navigator of a ship, I think astrophysics would be better.
Well, ironically, it was said that Siegfried was the one that was better at navigation and everything like that.
Yeah.
Nope, no aliens in there.
どう思うキルヒアイス。
老朽化した艦ですね。
艦だけじゃない。艦長以下
Oh, they're searching for bugs.
士気も低い。
実戦では違うかもしれませんよ。
ベイドライ基地でもそうだった。帝国軍全体の空気がよどんで
You missed an eye.
意識改革をさせるのは並大抵のことではないぞ。
We know it's B3, not B2.
8月27日、ラインハルトが航海長を務めるハーメルンツバイを含む
Oh, that explains the signature, yeah, Hamlin. The Pied Piper. Which, you know, is pretty thick.
領艦の位置を確認。定位置を確保。
領艦の位置を確認。回します。
定位置を確保します。
Or check by hand?
まあ、金髪壁画
They have no internal communications?
昔から悪役と相場が決まってるやな。
だけどさ、兄貴はいつも言ってるじゃないか。貴族だろうが平民だろうが同じ人間に変わりはないって。
Oh, those are trace on his thoughts.
この船が沈むときは、平民だろうが貴族だろうが、みんな仲良く宇宙の木図だからな。その意味じゃ平等だ。
そうじゃなくて。
盛り上がってるじゃないか。どうも君たちは新任の航海長が気に入らないらしい。
別に。
聞いてらしたんですか。副長も人が悪い。
君たちの不安はよくわかる。何分ミューゼル注意は若い。ロルフ、君より2歳下だ。実のところ私も不安でね。上実だけで地位を得た者に権限が与えられているのではないかと思うと、交代勤務の時もおちおち休んでいられないくらいさ。
Literally the thing he's been trying to fight this entire time.
だけかどうかは知らんよ。地上戦では武君も
I guess this just goes to show he's never going to be able to fight that train of thought.
学校の卒業生は普通順位で任官するのに、彼は最初から少尉だ。士官学校の卒業生と同等に扱われている。出発点からして一歩リードしているのは不公平と言えるだろうな。
すっごい
な。だが別に私はミューゼル注意が無能だと決めつけているわけではない。地位にふさわしい能力を持っていてくれれば何の問題もない。そうだろ？
それはそうですが。
They said that you just said that you stay up thinking, worrying about it all the time.
いやおうなくな。だがその時に無能なことが分かっても手遅れだ。彼だけならともかく我々全員が道連れされてしまうかもしれん。
つまり副長は実践になる前にヤッコさんの実力を試したい、そうおっしゃるわけですか。
別にそうは言っていない。だがそういう機会があれば乗組員全員のためにいいことだとは思う。
だったら俺がやります。
何か考えがあるのか。
Yeah, it's called the simulator. It's just down the hall.
Yeah.
You know that thing everyone does in military academy?
次回定時報告までキッシンゲンドライトのコンタクトを断つ。
コンタクト切ります。
副長ブリッジへ。指揮を引き継ぐ
長が指揮を取る。
He knows his protocol.
交代時間だ。当直の者以外は下がって休め。
Yeah, I appreciate it when space stuff is treated the same way as like submarine stuff. Now, time to mutiny and see how he reacts.
そう構えないでくださいよ。航海長殿にちょっとお願いがあるだけですから。
何か私に言おうか。
いえね、航海長殿。こっちのロルフは俺っちの弟で機関部の新兵なんですがね。出港前の整備をやり残してこれから船外作業せにゃならんのですよ。ところが経験がないから不安だと言いやがる。俺たちも手伝ってやりたいがそれほど自信があるわけじゃない。危機を呼ぶところじゃ幼年学校では無重力訓練なんかもやるんでしょ。しかも航海長殿は最優等生だったそうじゃないですか。一つ面倒見ていただけませんかね。
回りくどい。
I gotta admit, I can't figure out what the plan is yet.
そう明かりがいいと気持ちいいね。
いいだろ
う。お、ますます気持ちいいね。まあ、みんな。
Or how this is going to evolve into the Mutineer.
それなら私が。
いや、彼らは航海長の力が知りたいんだ。私がやる。
ラインハルト様。
おお。様々ってそっちのキルヒアイス少尉は何かい。ミューゼル家の家臣ってわけかい。そういうところが気に食わねえな。貴族だろうが平民だろうが同じ人間に変わりはねえだろう。
All that tells me is you don't understand the social hierarchy, which explains your position in it.
でかい面がしたかったら、その実力ってやつを示してもらいたいもんだね。
そうだそうだ。
Your competence in what, though? Let's go out on a spacewalk has nothing to do with my job as a navigator.
I think it's acting under. How does it act under pressure? Will he crack or not?
Technically, as a spacewalk would be the lack of pressure. Don't roll your eyes at me. That was a funny joke.
まさかとは思いますが。
お前が点検してくれれば安心だ。
酸素と策薬の量が少なすぎないか。
無駄遣いはできないんでね。タイムリミット付きさ。
ラインハルト様、やはり
万が一の時はバックアップしてくれ。お前がいるから安心して危険なこともできる。
And for good luck, here's a smooch.
準備はいいかい？
いつでもいいぞ。
それじゃあ始めるか。ルールは簡単。左舷 C ブロックの起動スラスター7番と9番のユニットを交換する。早い方が勝ちってわけさ。
Well, we didn't even get time with the. We didn't even get told what the time limit was. Just that there is a time limit. Well, yeah, but I mean, how much oxygen? What's the time on the oxygen?
Oi! 後で策略がなくなるぞ。
Well, it is technically a race, so.
ロルフのやつ。おい、手伝ってくれ。俺も出る。
どういうことだ。
まずい。
Well, he did that on purpose, though.
No.
No, he did.
Get blinded by the sun?
He looked back as though he was about to do something stupid on purpose. Like, this is all part of a test. Yoink. Not enough rope. I mean, worst case scenario, stop the ship.
どうして黙っていろ。こちらのスラスターも残りが少ない。2人分の体重を船まで戻せるか、吹かす方向を計算しているんだから。よし、体を動かすな。
If only I had a fire extinguisher.
こっちも終わったか。だが加速はついた。よし。何？
Oops.
And that's when the ship would have needed a navigator.
一番。大丈夫だ。ラインハルト様。ロールフ、このバカ。キルヒアイス、来てくれると思ったよ。
あんた命の恩人だ。
それほどのことではない。私もキルヒアイス少尉とザイデル伍長に救われた口だ。
He's got humility. He's the perfect officer.
貴族だろうが平民だろうが同じ人間に変わりはないんだろう。ん？
You've been eavesdropping on me.
気に入ったぜあんた。貴族にしておくのは惜しい。
だが、さっきの軌道は偶然か。
漠然とした不審を覚えるラインハルトだった。
Yeah, I said I don't think it was.
カプテラン化以来、身辺の出来事に過敏になっているのかもしれない。いずれにしても、前途多難な航海の始まりを予感させる出来事だ。
That only had 3 episodes left.
帝国歴482年8月のことである。
I'm lost.
Either he prevents the mutiny or he's the one who sets it off.
Well, it's called Mutineer, which is implicative of a persona.
Yeah. But if the men of the ship like him and something wrong happens, then does he really try to relieve his commanding officer?
That's the way I thought it would be. More specifically, the second in command, since obviously we know the captain don't do shit and listens to the first officer, who is then respected by the crew as well. Then it would be competing commands, I guess. Not that the navigator would be the next in line after. I don't know. It's just the idea that nothing has been implicitly shown to be a thing yet. You know, first episode of Silver Valley, literally we knew who the enemy was, what the threat was. Unless one of these guys got a communique from the Countess.
Could be.
Petty Officer of the third class. I shortened it to just Petty Officer. Enlisted ranks are often shortened to the common element of the rank when addressing someone. I had no chance. I was looking away when it popped up in the first place.
Yeah, there's also a wall of text, so
I got halfway through. Also, these are ordinary people, right? Doing equestrian things.
Yeah. With a gem-studded cravat, yeah. And a bow tie for the other guy.
I think it's a bolo tie.
No, it's a bow tie.
Oh, I think it said bolo tie. Bolo, because I was saying a bolo tie is that little neck string thing that has the joining piece in the middle. But it's not a bow tie either, though, I don't think.
No, not on Reinhard, on the other guy.
Yeah, secret. I don't think it was. I think it's just a tied-up cravat.
指揮権の異常を拒否したラインハルトは反逆罪に問われるが、次回銀河英雄伝説外伝反乱者第2話、心のくびき解き放ち
You're gonna have to explain it to me. I missed it explaining the bolo tie and disagreeing with you.
He's accused of being mutineer because he disagrees with the first officer's orders of how to escape the trap.
So exactly what we said before then.
Yeah, but usually when you mount a mutiny, it's like, oh, we're going to take over the ship. It's like, no, I won't relate my command, which is...
Well, no, it's more like...
I mean, he's disobeying orders.
The Denzel Washington movie, submarine movie.
Yeah, I know what you want to talk about.
Where he refuses to turn the key to launch the nuke.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just disagreeing with orders.
Yeah, whether or not, World War III has started or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of situation. It's just disagreeing with a superior's orders. I guess if other people agree with him, it would become a mutiny. It's not that he instigates a mutiny. It's just that other people agree and then not rise up, but verbally disagree with the captain.
Yeah.
In which case you could make a charge of mutiny, even if it's not like hostile.
I mean, the implication is always that it is hostile.
Well, I mean, it's not following orders and it's multiple people. It's like it's the same thing as like calling something a conspiracy. If multiple people agree to do a thing, then you might have a charge of conspiracy, even if it's not a hostile. There are non-hostile conspiracies. You can conspire on a birthday.
I mean, that's just an agreement, but anyway. So yeah.
Well, it's a secret agreement.
Interesting episode. Unlike the other episodes, these one, have a very quick pace as well. Things happen very quickly.
I know, this is the slowest of the Reinhard ones.
And even then, it was pretty quick.
Well, I mean, arguably, they're all the same length.
The pacing and...
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, the Yang stuff, this is all, like, lightning quick. I just mean that nothing is really here. This is just, like, an introductory... Ironically, I don't think this is going to be the ship he spends the next 100 episodes on, so... spending a whole episode learning the crew, for all we know, it's going to wind up just like the base. Right after Reinhardt left, they all died without surrendering. It's like, what? God, glad I learned everybody.
Yeah. You live as long as you serve with him. The moment he's no longer your commanding officer, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, that's what happens to characters outside of a narrative, right? You're basically frozen in time until the narrative focuses on you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine that literary universe, right? Where you're a character, and then the moment the main character leaves away, you're like, no, and you just freeze in time. And then the narrative looks back at you. Like the Eye of Sauron is the narrative. And it's been 13 years since the last time the main character came around, and you instantly age like the guy who drank from the wrong cup in Indiana Jones. Oh, no!
And teleported to wherever you need to go as well.
Typically the grave. He died when you weren't in town. Oh, I did what? No!
That would be a funny story. I've never seen a story told like that.
That's what I'm saying. Just imagine. You can imagine it. I don't know how you'd write it as a story, No,
I mean, you write it from the point of view of everybody but the main character, right? Kind of like a stage direction, kind of like
unfortunate NPCs, right?
Like a stage direction, like what's the show that we're watching about the Coke commercials? Well, they had the Coke commercials in it.
Gosensu-sama, long live the ancestors. Ironically, once again, because, the comments we just got were from that person.
So, kind of like that, but instead of focusing on the family, we focus on everyone else, like everyone else on the beach or something like that. And as they leave, they go like,
Yeah.
And this would be the story of this family, but let's focus on that little girl who's playing with the dog. And then when they leave, it's like they freeze, and it's like 10 years later, she's in university or something.
It feels like the way you would do it would be like, was it the Bradbury novel, which is the house after the nuclear war that has all the automated systems in it?
Yeah, like I said, the robots are cleaning and doing the same thing.
Yeah. Every so often it like talks about like the outline of a little boy on the wall outside, And it's like, oh, now I know what happened.
That's at the end. At the end, when the house down, because there's a fire, because one of the robots, there's a short circuit, the house burns down, and the face of the house that doesn't burn down has the entire family. The shadow.
It's just
of
the horror of understanding what's happening here. But yeah, you do that. You can do that sort of thing in that the way that the house is described. You describe the NPCs in their unmoving states, and then every so often the activity, like the robots cleaning the house, you're like, well, the main characters come back into town after their adventure, and all the NPCs jump into motion again as the world has given them new life.
Yeah, or it's a computer game.
It would be the Langoliers. If you remember Langoliers?
I heard about it. Haven't seen it.
Oh, you never seen it? Well, it's a story. It's a novel first. Made for TV movie first, where the Langoliers is just the universe out, just like a step out of time in the past. So like food has no taste, water. No taste. Already, food and water have no taste. And nobody's around, and the Langoliers eat the world every second and behind. And that's the main character of that story get trapped in that world and have to escape the Langoliers. But the same idea is that they're trapped out of time. The NPCs are just trapped out of time of the main characters, waiting for the main characters to discover them again.
Oh, but you could have them like a little girl, and then 10 years pass, and the little girl teleports to, I don't know, to a 10 years older, and she's like, she was 10, now she's 20, and she's sitting in a cafe like, what am I doing here? And it's because the main character walked in to talk to the barista and having some kind of romantic interest, and she's like drinking her coffee or tea, going like, oh, that's interesting.
I think I would also do it as a combination of that and what's the Will Ferrell movie?
Elf?
No, it's the one where he can hear the narrator talking about his life. Because there's actually a person in the world who's writing a book, and it so happens to be about him. And every time that they type something, he hears it, and he's like, what? No! Because you imagine what you're describing, the girl 20 years later teleports across, and she is whatever, but she's also hearing the narrator say, wait, I did what? When? I didn't want to go to that school, what? And the something also the same way that Fate, they get like a download of information about the modern age whenever they get brought anywhere. The same sort of thing where these people are getting downloaded information, but it's actually the narrator of the story. Every NPC is informed by this omnipotent voice, so they have no choice but to listen to. Oh, I didn't like him. I was hoping to marry that other guy.
Or like making a computer design situation where you're designing a video game, something like that. And so, when the character fast travels, you're like, and then you come back and there's a bear behind you. It's like, oh no, and the bear kills him,
Yeah.
And it's like, and
I feel like we're creating something pretty funny here that could actually come. Something like, listening to the narrator tell you about your life. But where did my arm go? Oh, I went to war.
But they just no. But they're talking about the main character, and he's like, what am I doing here? What happened to my dog? And then there's a picture of the dog with a little girl, and then another picture where they bury him in the backyard, and she's like, Dobie died? Oh no. And then the character, she starts mourning the dog, and the character just walks away to the next loading screen, and she's like,
well, one, I'm still trapped in, I lived in Wisconsin. How did I step on a landmine? But also the concept of always behind the main character is an army of NPCs in the area he's walking through or trying to chase after him. Don't leave! But of course there's some sort of barrier that prevents their voices from interrupting his life.
Yeah, because they're behind the loading screen. That's what it is. The barrier is the loading screen.
Yeah, like old, the original Final Fantasy MMO where there was just constant walls to separate you.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's a fun idea. Yeah. Somebody will make it. Obviously, I live in the Alliance. I'm too lazy.
So yeah, that was this episode.
Yeah,
again
it was set
they're
up.
all set up.
It was more set up.
Set up to the setup. Yeah,
it was more set up than Silver Valley got in its first episode, and what the characters we were introduced to in Silver Valley did stuff on top of being introduced, whereas these guys, the things that they were doing only set them up to like the character and not actually do anything.
Okay, the setup in the first episode is a setup of the political situation that Reinhard and what's the other guy? I forget his name.
Siegfried.
Siegfried are in, right? And their relation to each other. That's a setup.
Well, no, the setup. I'm saying the setup also sets up the assassination plot. It's the action.
Yeah, I know, but these, just like I was talking about when we talk about Yang, the whole situation is ultimately a setup because we're seeing how things eventually will, fall into the main series, right? So my theory about what happened with Yang was, this is how he meets his inner team, right? The people that he's going to rely, his own 730 Mafia, right? Here, the setup is, why is this woman trying to kill Reinhard? Or, well, now we see why. How does he set up his command style, right? It's not just him and the other guy is like, he's willing to interact not only with the nobles, but also with the regular people and earn their trust, right, of his crew. So I think that's what these things are, right?
I mean, it's certainly not the same thing as Yang, considering that. Like, once again, we got that. Oh, and then they all inconsequentially died. Literally, we're leaving behind nobody left to join Reinhardt in the future. If Yang is building his future party, crew, whatever, then I guess that's why we get like a character at a time that we latch onto and then moved on from, versus Reinhardt, who only has Siegfried, and then everybody at the base died without surrendering. That's just something to include in every one of your D&D adventures, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to come back here. I loved these people. Tail end of that, they all died 5 years after you left without surrendering. Surrendering to who? Nope, just without surrendering.
Yeah, an orc attack, an orc invasion, they killed everybody.
Every adventure, right? Every adventure you do a post-time skip where you tell everything that happened.
Isn't that Fearing? Isn't that kind of Fearing story?
No. Well,
Because
I mean, Fearing features kind of a time skip, but not. She didn't like move on and everyone died. It was like literally the first episode they go on the adventure. Or actually, the first episode they come back from already having done the adventure. They say we're going to meet back here in, I want to say 50 years, to see the meteor shower thing that comes around every 50 years. And then she comes back 50 years later, and obviously everyone is old. And Guy literally dies of happiness watching the meteor shower because he's been waiting for the main hero, in fact, dies of happiness having watched the meteor shower he's been waiting for all this time. And they have the funeral. And that's how basically the first episode ends, her crying at the funeral, saying, I didn't really get to know him. And you come out through the story finding out that he actually was in love with her and she wasn't like attached at all. And like she's holding a ring at the funeral that I didn't even recognize, which is a ring that he gives her.
Oh, well.
Yeah, all of her companions die in the fucking, like... Oh, sorry. The dwarf obviously doesn't die, but he is so old that he is implied to be nearish to death. The human companions of her party die in, like, the first 3 episodes. It's not a huge spoiler. Also, it's on the channel. And I don't feel shame spoiling stuff that is on the channel because we watched it. I assume a little bit of kinship to the channel shows.
So yeah, that was this episode.
Yep. 3 years after the mutiny, they all died without surrendering.
In the Battle of Tiamat 2.
No, never imply a battle happened. They just died without surrendering. I mean, obviously in that one, they literally say that the Alliance invades and they die without surrendering. I just like the concept of, well, 2 years after you left the tavern owner died without surrendering. Surrendering to who? To what? What? It's such a crazy line to throw out and end with.
Yeah.
Oh, hope he didn't get... Oh, to be fair, they named like 4 characters in the whole fucking base. The one guy avoided getting run over by a tank. But then he died without surrendering. So...
Oh, they got their comeuppance anyway. A bunch of rapists and, and losers. Yeah. That was my sister, you son of a bitch.
Well, actually, it would have to be implied that she was on the Imperial side, so it would be crazy if he was related to an Alliance person.
Yeah.
But I guess it also implies that she died without surrendering.
I guess so. Well, she's from a nearby chemical plant. She's not part of the base. Unless the Alliance also attacked the chemical plant and destroyed it, in which case they killed everybody there too.
To be fair, there might have been a lot of military officers. It could have been a nearby munitions factory.
Yeah, that too.
Died without surrendering. It's such a fucking... Anyway, that has been us for today. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?